All right, YouTube. This Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Back with another video. It's Monday morning, and I hope you mothers out there had a wonderful Mother's Day. I know a lot of you went to church. Ironically, that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the church. Now, if you are a regular subscriber to my channel, you know Friday I talked about the relationship between the black community and the Arab community. A lot of people in the comments, they didn't agree with me. They didn't like what I said. But me being from Detroit, which has the largest Arab demographic in the country, and growing up living around Arabs, I just talked about my experience and what I observed in that situation. But today, we finna talk about the black church. And you may say, well, is there a difference between the black church and the white church? Yes, it is. Because black Americans have a different relationship with the church than other Americans. Let me tell you how. Because the master always will pick somebody that could articulate the Bible to his slaves. He would tell, his preacher that they could be closer to him in God if they let him know what those other darkies was talking about. He'd tell them, if you a good God-fearing Christian, you'll let us know what them other boys is talking about. you know. So he always used preachers to undermine the slaves and people that were subservient to him. That's just the history of it. Just like when you say that the Arabs were the first transporter and enslavers of Africans. That's a fact. They the one created eunuchs, castrating black men and making them slaves. So this is just a brief history. But what we're talking about today and what I'm going to talk about is the total corruption of the black church by the Democratic Party. And you say, well, why don't you don't say conservatives? Because conservatives don't come to the black church pushing abortion and transgenderism. They're conservative. That's not their agenda. So they don't come to black churches pushing that and trying to tie that in because that goes against their conservative views. But the Democratic liberals who like to corrupt and undermine things, they come to the black church. They use the preachers just like they did in the old times. A lot of people they keep forgetting that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. And you had the Democrats, which is the Dixiecrats. You know what I mean? They still whistling Dixie. Now, what we're talking about today is the separation of church and state. In this country, you was never supposed to tie the church in to politics because the pastor could always come out there and sway his congregation in the name of God to promote a political agenda, even if the agenda went against God, went against Bible, and went against the general aspirations of that community. And what I want to show you is what's going on down there in Georgia with Fani Willis and these black bishops and preachers that came out to support her. Now, they're going to talk about a lot of things, but they're not going to talk about the 19 unalived people in her jail in under a year. Think about that. I did a story on that before. 19 people lost their lives in a jail. They forget that her whole scandal was about her relationship with a married man while she was prosecuting the biggest case of her life. And she keeps getting in front of the church and using church people and using dogma and dog whistling as a way to push a political agenda. Politics and religion, they say those is two serious topics, and they get even more dangerous when you mix the two. So what we're going to see and what I'm going to show you is watch these preachers, these men of the cloth, so to speak, come out and politicize religion as a way to sway and manipulate the minds of black people Black Americans. On this channel, we don't do any race baiting. I ain't with race baiting, and I don't fight no gender war. But we got to show the truth about what's happening and hope you see through it so that you don't be manipulated with their double talk. So I'm finna show you the clip. It's for fair use of the 1976 Copyright Act for education, commentary, and the First Amendment. Watch these so-called religious leaders get very political down there in Georgia. Check this out.
Good morning. I am honored today to be able to join with my colleagues in announcing our personal endorsements of Fani Willis to be reelected as District Attorney.
Now I'm gonna stop right there. Then I'm gonna let it play some more. These are pastors and bishops coming out and endorsing a political candidate. Watch how they tie the Bible in. You know what I mean? These are the same people that get in front of their congregation and says, if Jesus was with us, Jesus would support transgenders. They tell you that. They tell you if Jesus was with us, Jesus would support abortion. And don't nobody call them out on that. How many of y'all in the comments think that Jesus will support transgender and children and abortion? I mean, if you believe that Jesus would support that, put it in the chat. Say it. I want to see how many of y'all actually believe that.
Fulton County. We make this endorsement today because of her record, because of her principles, and because of her commitment.
Her record, she's being sued by at least 8 people. She's being sued for firing a whistleblower. She's right now in a scandal with a married man, and she says to the world, she don't think she did anything wrong. So what principles are these preachers talking about?
The service. I became a fan of Fani Willis before I met him, and while I was still in New Jersey. In New Jersey, I heard the story of this young prosecutor who was fighting to make sure that children did not get cheated out of a quality education. And in the midst of...
Right now, she's being hauled in front of Congress for the misappropriation of funds that was targeted to use toward young offenders and gangs. She took the money that was supposed to go to the young people to stop gang violence, fired the whistleblower who said that they didn't want the grant money wasn't allotted for what she wanted to use it for, but they come in front of you and they liars. It's like in the Bible when Jesus said, you have turned his father's house into a den of thieves. You know what I mean? Think about what they're saying for real. Analyze them.
Strong opposition and powerful forces. She held her ground and fought the good fight.
Paperwork can be overwhelming. That's why Busy is such a lifesaver. They handle all of your filing and compliance requirements.
Fani Willis is a person of tremendous courage and integrity. Today, that young prosecutor is known all over the world because of her pursuit of justice, because of her commitment that no one is above the law. All right. And because of fighting on behalf of all of the citizens of Fulton County. Much has been said about...
Remember, 19 prisoners lost their lives in her jail. Her jail doesn't even have locks on the cells. One prisoner was eaten alive by bed bugs. These preachers will get in front of you and lie. This is what I'm talking about when I say the total corruption of the church by the Democratic Party. Their whole agenda, they're running a whole campaign now on abortion. They're not offering any other economic plans. They're just giving you one thing.
Her stand as it relates to the 2020 election and whether or not there was an effort to disregard the will of the people. But her record is about much more than that. And we make a mistake if that's all we focus on. But somebody ought to say something about the fact that crime has been reduced by 25%. The third highest percentage across the nation.
That is a lie that could be easily disproved by Googling it. This is what I'm talking about with these preachers. First of all, the separation of church and state clearly says that churches who support religious candidates in politics will lose their 501c3 tax exemption because the church isn't designed to intermingle with politics unless you're a Democrat. This is why Biden always runs up in front of a black congregation, knowing he was a devout segregationist the whole time he was in Congress.
I want to say something about the fact that she has gone after and attacked the problem of gangs, not only across Fulton County, but gangs which infect in a negative way too many of our communities and especially our young people. And she has carried out indictments against many of the major gang leaders in this area. Somebody ought to say something about the fact that when she assumed office, there were more than 70,000 open cases. Wow. Today, all of those cases have been handled. All right. Somebody ought to talk about the fact that she's created the first pre-indictment diversion program in Fulton County, which gives people who deserve it a second chance. Through partnerships with community organizations and churches and other groups, they are able now to get skills for life and not have their future marred by a criminal record. Fani Willis has a terrific record. All right. And we don't want that record to be missed because we focus on one thing. All right. And so we come today to endorse Fani Willis and to make it clear that we will do everything we can to make sure that she is not only reelected, but through her reelection send a message throughout Georgia.
Managed WordPress hosting by Hostinger. Your website will run at top speed with our CDN.
And the nation. All right. But she's not in this by herself. All right. The citizens that she was elected to serve have her back. Yeah, right. Let me close by saying I am fascinated with Fani Willis. These last 4 years have been filled with pressure. One thing after another. All right. Threats against her life and all of that.
Did you hear this old buzzard? This old buzzard, so-called religious man, say, I am fascinated with Fani Willis. You see how Fani sits there? You know what I mean? Looking like Tatiana. You notice something else? You don't see not one woman there. You see Jamal Bryant, and another group of chicken-eating country pastors supporting this woman. These dirty old men who she got wrapped around her finger in Georgia have come out from behind their pulpits to endorse a political candidate for the Democratic Party, knowing that it goes against the law of the separation between state and the church. And they happen to be overlooking the very facts concerning her case and what's going on in her political career. They would tell you that, oh, it's racism, but it was a black woman's husband who she was having an affair with that got this whole country looking at her right now. These preachers who accept your donations every Sunday, who don't do nothing for the community, are showing you that they're totally corrupt. It's like in the black community, they say you got a liquor store and a church on every corner, and both of them are keeping us poor.
But I'm fascinated because despite all of that, she still enjoys this job. All right. It's like she was born for this job. Yes, sir. And Fulton County could do no better than Fani Willis. All right. So we endorse her today. We're going to be calling upon all the citizens of Fulton County to join with us in re-electing her as Fulton County District Attorney. This time, I'd like to call upon Dr. Timothy McDonald to come and give some remarks, followed by Dr. Jamal Bryant.
Pay attention to these old buzzards. You know what I mean? Pay attention to their lecherousness. For real. Look at them closely. And then think about what you really seen. The Democratic Party has totally co-opted the black church. They're changing doctrine. They're changing scripture. And then if you call them out on it, they'll say, you can't judge people. Judge not lest you be judged. Then they'll quote the Bible. But they misquoting it because the things that you may talk about have already been judged. That's why you had the Ten Commandments. That's why you have the gospel. That's why you have the Torah. Things have already been judged. They're just changing the narrative.
Thank you so much, Bishop Jackson. This is the Civil Rights District. All right, yeah. Sweet Almond Avenue. Right in front of us on this wall is a mural of Congressman John Lewis. What we know about him is he talked about getting in good trouble. Good trouble. Yes. If there's one person that I know who's gotten into some good trouble, all right, it's Fani Willis. Yes, sir. And she does it with the...
Now look at what this preacher said. He said Fani Willis has got into some good trouble because she was interrogated in front of the whole country about adultery, misappropriation of funds, and lawfare against a political opponent. Is that good trouble? I'm just asking you. You know what I mean? Her whole case was unraveled because she was taking trips, paying her lover more than anybody else in a prosecutor's office, and the man was somebody else's husband. The preacher comes out and says she got in good trouble. All right, let's listen some more.
She does it with integrity. She does it with honesty. And she does it with conviction. I asked these other ministers to make sure they came up here Because I'm aware on the other side, there are also some clergy people. Well, there are people who say they are faith. I don't know what Jesus they worship. All right, say it. Come on, man. But they are the ones who want to try to turn back the clock. All right. They want to take us back to the 50s and the 40s. All right. And we're standing here today exemplifying our support of Fani Willis said, we ain't going back. No, sir. And no tunnel.
In the 50s and in the 40s and in the 60s, black people were conservative. They weren't transgendering their children. Their major concerns weren't abortion, because abortion didn't become legal until the 70s under Roe versus Wade. So when you look at these so-called religious leaders and these pastors, you can see that they have become a stumbling block in the spiritual development of the communities they're supposed to serve. Now you have to remember, they don't quote the Bible the way that it was written when it says the devil deceived the whole world. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar, render unto God what is God. Or when Christ said there will come a time to where the people will worship God in the spirit of the word. These people are getting right in front of you and twisting your very religion if you're a Christian. He says she got into good trouble.
Trying to early vote for a week. Right.
Want to build your business but not sure where to start? Try Taylor Brands. It's actually an all-in-one platform.
Madam DA, they moved the precinct several miles from where I live. I know. They changed the time frame wherein I'm able to vote. One of the reasons I stand with Fani Willis is because she's been fighting for the right of all Georgians to vote. Yeah, right. Democrats and Republicans. All right. And to vote in a timely and reasonable fashion. Yeah, right. Yeah, say that. Voting is still the best weapon that we have. Yeah. And Fani Willis stands for the right of all.
Y'all remember Bishop Eddie Long, T.D. Jakes caught up with his Puff Daddy? Can you really see why young people have abandoned the church? Look at these old buzzers surrounding this woman telling these lies in the name of Christ to support Democrats and a democracy as they destroy and tear down the Constitution and this country. Look at them. You know what I mean? And I'm not holier than thou, and I don't consider myself no religious leader. I don't consider myself no leader to the people at all. But this is my channel, and we're gonna speak the truth, and we're gonna call a spade over here. You know what I mean? Look at what they're saying and how they're using religion to push a political agenda.
To vote. Yeah. And when there is any effort to violate that, and they even try to steal and circumvent that process, right, she's doing the right thing. All right. I'm looking forward to that trial. All right. I'm looking forward with great excitement to see what the Bible says. Justice roll down that road. Yes. And righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Yes, sir. So it's important that we recognize that there's several clergy who wanted to be, and this is the exact same time that Concerned Black Clergy meets every Monday morning. Absolutely. From 9 to 12:30. Some of us broke away, but they're still meeting. Yeah. Reverend Cynthia Hale wanted to be here. The Reverend Dr. Gerald Durley wanted to be here and had conflicts. But we are here to stand in solidarity with Fulton County's DA, who has become the people's DA. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And she faces all kinds of opposition. Just in case members of the press, you have not heard about Project 2025. Tell it. By the Heritage Foundation. Tell it. Once headed by the wife Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Tell it. They have already started a process. Yes, sir. That they want to turn back the clock on our democracy. Yes, sir. If you haven't read about Project 2025, go read it. Y'all smart journalists. You will see that these folk are people of faith as well. Yeah. But they don't serve Joseph's God. We stand with Bishop Jackson. Yeah. We stand with Fani Willis. Yeah. Because we serve a God of the people. Yeah. A God of truth, a God of justice, a God of righteousness. And we are honored to stand in solidarity, to know that she has on the whole arm of God. All right. Yeah. And we do as well. Yeah. And we ready for the battle. Yeah. Ain't nobody standing here ain't never been in a fight. All right. All of us have been in numerous fights. Yes, sir. And somehow I can say God ain't never failed us. He ain't never will. And he ain't gonna fail us in this election. So for all of those forces out there, anti-Fani Willis and threats and all that.
Look at the picture again. All these old lecherous buzzards surrounding Fani Willis while she sits there smug, knowing that she went in front of another church and lied about having an affair with a married man in her office who she was paying money over $700,000, and he wasn't even qualified to prosecute the case. She's being sued by so many people in her office who happen to be black, but yet she still plays the race card. And look at these old buzzards. These people, you go to church and they teach you contrary to the word. Jesus told you that his father's house had become a den of thieves, and inequities. It's crazy. Listen to them. Listen how they invoke God and religion and then still say, we really want her to be the candidate and win. We have become politicians and we finna galvanize our church to get behind this political agenda. This is just wrong.
Get ready. Because we know how to fight. All right. And we serve a God who is a God of truth and justice. Yeah. And he's in this battle with us. And he's already declared that we're going to win. All right. Truth is going to win. Yeah. Justice is going to win. Righteousness is going to win. And so Fani Willis knows that we got your back, your front, and your side. Yeah. God got you above and below, but we got you too. Yeah. All right. And we're honored to stand in solidarity with you. I am honored to bring one of my friends. I've known Bishop for years. When he was over at Morehouse, I knew him. I know his father, Bishop. Jamal Bryant is one of America's true prophets.
Not Jamal Bryant is America's true prophet. Not Mr. I'ma start growing bud so that the young people will come to my church. No, he's a prophet. His bright idea was to take the land, grow bud, so that the young black men would come to church and grow bud, and he teach the word while they smoke like Cheech and Chong. Not that prophet. Really.
We thank God for his courage, and we thank God for his leadership and for what he's doing at Newburgh. Let us hear now from this prophet of God, Jamal Bryant.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you, Dr. McDonald, Bishop Jackson, to members of the press. My name is Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant of the Newburgh Missionary Baptist Church. I come today to wholeheartedly endorse and support D.A. Willis, and I wanted you to know why. In 234 years of this republic, not once from George Washington to Abraham Lincoln, not once from John Fitzgerald Kennedy to Eisenhower, not once have we ever had to indict a president. 234 years, American history has been disrupted, but I would dare say that will not be banned in Florida. But it should be noted that this president is currently under 4 different trials at the exact same time. One of them is taking place even in this hour for hush money. F-Series, America's hoping that a woman would be quiet and would not give her peace. Regrettably, that money for them did not reach Georgia. Because we found a hero that is buried in this soil by the name of Hosea Williams, who said that we are unbought and we are unbossed. And our DA has said in the words of that Negro spiritual, I'm not going to let anybody turn us around.
No, he didn't say Negro spiritual. No, he didn't say Negro spiritual. Are you not entertained?
This is, in fact, a ecumenical gathering of preachers. And I need you to see flanked behind me with symbolism and with substance that they are all men. That is not out of misogyny. It is out of clear messaging. The most consistent voting bloc for the Democratic Party since President Obama has been black women. The Democratic Party owes a debt of gratitude for black women.
No church-going woman worth her salt would have went and stood with Fani Willis and amen to the rhetoric that these lecherous old geezers is pushing down the throat of the black community. Say it ain't so.
Carrying the water and delivering for the party for the last 4 presidential cycles. So we understand that the role and the responsibility in this election is for black men to step up to the plate.
Not
Black
with you,
men
not with
step up
y'all.
to the plate. This will not even be a debate. It won't even be a question. It won't even be contention. And so I want to really ring the hammer loud for black men to not just go to the vote, go to the polls, but to go there in record and strong numbers. Because when men lead the way, it will shift the community, and thereby it will shift the nation. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad once said that the most vulnerable person in this nation is black women. And so today we came to surround.
He lying. Elijah Muhammad never said that. Malcolm X said the most disrespected and unprotected in this country was the black woman. He's trying to quote Malcolm X and confuses Malcolm X with Elijah Muhammad and confuses the whole statement. How would any black men of good conscience and clear mind support them? He said Elijah Muhammad. Listen to these preachers. They going to the boneyard, digging up civil rights leaders and misquoting them and using them and misleading black people. He said Elijah Muhammad said that. Elijah Muhammad never said that, and he's not even quoting it right. That was Malcolm X who said the black woman is the least respected and least protected. And he attributed this to Elijah Muhammad. Really, bro?
This black woman with care, with compassion, with confidence, and with love. To know that we are not in any average random place. We could have had this press conference outside of the headquarters of Coca-Cola, but we didn't want you to think that our fire would fizz out. We could have had this press conference outside of CNN, but we didn't want you to think that this was just for click and bang. We could have had this press conference, ladies and gentlemen, outside of Georgia Power, but we wanted you to know that this was not electricity, but this is spiritual undergirding. But we came to historic Auburn Avenue to let Georgia realize that the civil rights struggle is still underway. And I stand here today much like they did on the steps of the monument in 1964. to understand that this debate, this issue, is about not just dreaming, but making the dream a reality. All right. I want my daughters to dream to know that they can be a DA. I want them to dream to know that they can speak truth to power. All right. I want them to dream to know that when they speak against corruption in high places, that a community will stand behind them. I want my daughters to realize that this is, in fact, the words of Fannie Lou Hamer, when you get sick and tired of getting sick and tired, find a second wind and run on and see what the end is going to be. And so we came not just to speak to the press, not just to speak to Georgians, not just...
I'm sorry, I can't take no more. I can only take so much hypocrisy. And you know, you got to take hypocrisy in small doses so you don't OD. If you want to see everything else these people, these pastors is talking about, it's on YouTube. But clearly, you understand where I'm coming from. I mean, he just went and reached to Elijah Muhammad and misquoted a whole statement that Elijah Muhammad never even made. How they use the Bible and they using the church to go against the general aspirations of the black community and black Americans. And it's the Democratic Party. You say, I don't go against conservatives like this because they don't come to our churches. They is not pushing this anti-Christ and anti-country agenda. The T.D. Jakes and Bishop Longs and Jamal Bryant's. Is these your leaders? Is these your leaders? I can't go any further with this. Signing to you out of Detroit. It's Detroit's HPTV. Keep your head on the swivel. Salute to all patriots. Peace. Like, share, and subscribe.